To the field, it's starting to sound like a broken record. For Mark Taylor, it's all about breaking records. Taylor has 5 wins in 7 races, including the last 3 in a row. This weekend, Taylor and his pursuers tackle Gateway International Raceway, a true driver's track where braking and shifting will be critical. Infiniti Pro Series racing in the shadow of the Gateway Arch is next. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, welcomes you to Gateway International Raceway just outside of St. Louis, Missouri for the 2nd annual Indy Racing League Infiniti Pro Series Gateway 100. Series standings after 7 events show that Mark Taylor has a commanding 113-point lead over Tiago Medeiros, but it's very, very close from there on back. Only 49 points separate Medeiros in second from Arie Luyendyk Jr. back in 10th place. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Indy Racing League veteran Davey Hamilton. Glad to have you with us here. And, Davey, these drivers trying to claw their way back into the top 10 in the standings or maybe have a shot at Mark Taylor. But the comeback of the week has to belong to Texas native Brandon Irwin, who had what has to be considered the driver's nightmare last time out in the early laps at Michigan.
Oh, what a tough break. 180 miles an hour. He's in the black and yellow car, into the wall, flames, fire, parts going everywhere. But fortunately, he's back here in St. Louis with us.
He left that racetrack. He had a CAT scan x-rays. They were all negative, and he is back. Boy, is he back. For more on that, here's Amy East.
Thanks, Jerry. I've got 2 words for you: pole position. And even though that crash last week was scary, Brandon doesn't remember any of it, luckily for him. But what is on his mind is money. Finding money to continue racing. This team is always competitive. They grab the pole position. This could potentially be your last start of the year if we don't get some funding. How much pressure do you feel to win this race today?
There's a lot of pressure on me, but I mean, I've just got to go out there and run my own race and take what the car will give me. I can't necessarily, you know, try to push the car too hard and take us out. And if we wreck the car, that's a heck of a lot worse than a 2nd or 3rd or just a podium. So, I mean, the Sand Schmidt Motorsports team has been working hard. Casino Queen and Natural Golf are sticking with us for this race, and I don't know. We'll just have to see where the future takes us. And I mean, I can't ask for anything more to come here and sit on the pole after you know, going through all that we went through with that wreck and stuff. It was pretty scary, but I'm back here, and I'm really happy to be here.
All right, if you're a potential sponsor looking to showcase your product on the side of a race car, take a look at this guy, Brandon Irwin and Sam Schmidt Motorsports.
And Amy, Brandon Irwin shattered the track record by 9 miles per hour in the Natural Golf machine. What a great lap for Brandon to put that car on the pole. Now, let's talk about Hamilton's hot tips, Davey. How do you handle this finicky and essentially flat racetrack?
Very difficult racetrack. Paper clip in design. You have to shift. Two downshifts, 2 upshifts every lap, so you need to be easy on the gearbox. Also, with the very tight corners, long straightaways, you're going to be hard on the brakes. You need to take care of your brakes. Make sure you don't wear your brakes out before the end of this race. And then finally, morning practice. It hurt us this morning, having accidents in the early practice before the race. The guys need to maybe learn before a race, you'd be easy in the final warm-up.
And take a look at our starting lineup. Brandon Irwin, the 6th different pole winner this year, takes the Casino Queen Natural Golf machine to the front row. Tom Wood involved in a morning incident. We'll tell you more about him in a minute. He will start outside row 1 and may have to go to the back of the pack. Row 2. Jeff Simmons, a runner-up last week in Michigan, and there's the 5-time winner this year and points leader, Mark Taylor. Back in row 3, Ed Carpenter, who dominated and won Indianapolis, had a rookie test. We'll tell you more about that coming up in the show. And Coy Witherell, who won at Nashville a year ago. Back in row 4, Arie Luyendyk Jr., the pole sitter at Michigan, led the first 19 laps. And G.J. Minnan had a top 5 finish here a year ago, his best in Infiniti Pro Series racing. Back in row 5, Aaron Fyke, who won at Pikes Peak, and Paul Dana, a St. Louis native carrying the Cardinals colors from Major League Baseball. Hometown boy carrying the Cardinals. And from Brazil, Tiago Medeiros didn't qualify well, but watch him to come in a hurry here in the early laps at St. Louis. Onboard cameras, our Firestone Winners Cam, the Fulmar Panther machine. And here's Ed Carpenter of the Futaba Delphi machine. And they scatter out here on the 1.25-mile oval, Gateway International. 60 feet wide. They're 3 wide entering turn 1 back in the pack.
And there's definitely not room for 3 cars going through there, especially up to speed. But ooh, look at Tiago coming through. He's not going to stay in the back very long.
Tiago Medeiros, his car owner Angelo Ferro won this race last year. And what a surprise. Mark Taylor takes the lead and wiggles a little bit coming through turns 3 and 4 on lap 1.
I think a little bit of the problem with the start, Tom Wood actually The poor guy, he has an accident earlier today. They just get the car together literally just in time to pull out for the start of this race. No time to shake it down, no practice, and he's on the front row for the green flag. That had to be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Well, Taylor's the leader. The blue car, that's Brandon Irwin in the Casino Queen Natural Golf Machine. Our pole sitter behind him is Jeff Simmons, the Western Union Speed Team efforts. As you ride along with Ed Carpenter, that's the Fataba Delphi car owned by A.J. Foyt. His grandson, A.J. Foyt IV, won this racing, or won the championship in this series a year ago. There's Tiago Medeiros we're talking about, all the way to 7th spot.
He's going to be tough. He started in the back. They had a problem qualifying. They couldn't get the motor to run. The engine was popping and missing when he went out to qualify. Unfortunately, no time left, and had to start in the back. But he's going to. This car actually won the race last year. This team and this car won the race last year. So he's looking forward to this race, and he's going to come forward.
Let's check in Tiago's pits with Amy Eve.
Well, Tiago Medeiros and our leader, Mark Taylor, both those drivers had never even been on an oval track until their first Pro Series race this year in Homestead. Their racing background is road course racing. And what do you do a lot of on a road course? Shifting. Especially at this track, you do the same thing, just as Davey told us in his hot Hamilton tips. So both of these drivers feel as though this may be their best race of the year. Unfortunately for Tiago having to go to the back, but he feels comfortable with shifting, and he's going to be doing a lot of that in this race.
And Amy, let's let Davey, our driver expert, explain to people as you watch these cars. You're watching Medeiros picking them off one by one, getting a pretty good challenge there from Lion Dyke Jr. What about the shifting? Where do you shift, and what gear do you go to?
It's very tricky. As an oval racer, I'm not used to shifting as well, but in this racetrack, the design of it, such long straightaways, very, very tight corners, so you lose so much RPM in the corners that you have to shift. So they shift down when they go into turn 1, and they go under braking, they'll shift down 2 gears. They'll go from 6th, 5th to 4th, and then about halfway down the back straightaway, they'll go up to 5th, and then once they get off of turn 4, actually back onto the front straightaway, they'll shift into the high gear again. So it's a busy racetrack. Like Amy said, the road course guys have some advantages. They know the timing of the shifting and when you can and cannot do it.
And you're watching the right hand there a moment ago of Ed Carpenter. You saw him go back to 6th. He's in turn 1 and 2 down to 4th, and a lot of these guys will go back, as you said a moment ago, to 5th or 6th up the back straightaway. And
you can see right now, Jerry, he's on his right hander to the left side of the car. Those are his sway bars and a weight jacker over there, so obviously he's changing the handling of the car. The shifter is on the right side that he also will use with his right hand, and we'll probably see it coming up right now. He's going to the left right now and making an adjustment. Now he's doing it with his left hand, so he's making some handling adjustments. There's the shift right there. You
saw the shift with the right hand coming off the steering wheel down to the sequential gearbox, going back to 6th, and he goes back down to 4th in turns 1 and 2, riding along the Fataba Delphi. Onboard camera for Ed Carpenter. Out of the A.J. Foyt stable. There's the guy they're chasing, the Fulmar Panther efforts. Was no surprise at all. Mark Taylor, 5 times he's gone to victory lane this year. He has dominated this series in terms of laps led. In fact, twice this year he has led from wire to wire. He led all 100 laps earlier in the year at Phoenix, and he's also dominated at Nashville, Tennessee. 7 of 80 laps are complete. Taylor, Irwin, Simmons, Witherill, and Carpenter in the top 5. Back in just a moment. Our speed road coverage of exciting Infiniti Pro Series action from St. Louis, Missouri is being brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Just joined our coverage. Our pole sitter was Brandon Irwin, but Mark Taylor made the pass on lap 1 and has led the first 26 laps of this one. Great side-by-side action. Here's Tom Wood trying to hold off Aaron Fike down the backstretch. Taylor the leader in the yellow car. Behind him, Brandon Irwin. In comes Simmons, Jeff Simmons, out of New York, the Western Union Speed Team machine. Keith Duesenberg on efforts. As you ride along with Ed Carpenter, who's being shown back in 5th spot. Speaking of Ed, let's check in his pits with Amy.
Well, and it's really neat from some of the onboard shots that we can see Ed's hands moving, and that is he's trying to make some adjustments to the chassis. He says he's really, really tight right now. The thing's really pushing bad. He feels it especially down in turns 1 and 2. We're about to see here from from the onboard shot just how much his car will push up the track right there. And he's really good down in 3 and 4. But what the frustrating part for Ed is right now is as he's making weight jacker adjustments, he says the weight jacker is not responding. Davey, how frustrating is that for a driver when you're trying to make adjustments and it's just not working?
You know, it's funny, as a driver, we always complain when the car's pushing and we can't get the push weight and it's frustrating. But on the other side of the cone, it's way better than the other choice, and that's being real loose and not being having the back of the car wanting to come around.
Well, let's back up one more than that. Let's explain to people exactly what a weight jacker is. People, you may assume, I mean, it's like it's almost like you can move a little knob and you can shift weight from your left leg to your right leg.
Exactly. What this does is they allow you to put a weight jacker as a hydraulic unit that goes between the shock and the spring, instead of manually turning like threads of a spring or threads of a nut going up and compressing the spring more. This hydraulic device will do that, so you can put more weight on the right front to help the car turn some more. You can help the handling tremendously with that item, but you can't completely fix the handling of a car. But one other thing that they do have is the sway bars. Then they have a front and a rear sway bar, and you can soften or stiffen. So I'll guarantee an Ed situation, if the car is under strain, you want to make the car as stiff as you can in the back and as soft as you can in the front. So when he goes to the corner, the weight transfers to the front of the car, tries to make the car turn, and then it helps handling. But you got to remember, these are just fine-tuned adjustments. They don't completely fix the race car. That's why Ed's frustrated. He's still working with a weight jacker, and pretty soon you can only go so far. He's going to run out of adjustments.
Infiniti Pro Series veteran Ed Carpenter, who was so dominant this year with his win at Indianapolis, recently took another step toward his dream of a full-time IndyCar Series career by completing an impressive rookie test at Kentucky.
Got up to speed, got we were running flat comfortably, and earned some pretty good lap times for the old Chevy engine we had in there. And then we did a lot of pit stop practice, which is something I'd never done coming out of USAC stuff with the midgets and sprints. We didn't do pit stops, and nor do we do pit stops in the Pro Series. So that was kind of a lot of fun. Probably the hardest thing I had to do all day was just practicing, getting in as hard as I could, and doing the pit stop, getting out of the pits as quick as I could. So it was a lot of fun.
And there is Ed Carpenter back in fifth spot, but Ed needs to look in that rearview mirror. There's Ed currently fifth. We mentioned that great rookie test he had with PDM and Paul Danilovich at Kentucky. Very impressive, running those laps at over 214 miles an hour in an Indy car last week. But there's a battle for position. There comes Ari Leindock Jr.
That's Tiago. I think Tiago may have some problems. He really slowed down going down the back straightaway. Ari caught up to him and went by him, and now it's still like he's falling off the pace because he was caught up to it. Yeah, there he goes. It looks like he may have a cut tire going up high in turn 2. There goes Tom Wood around him now, and he's pulling in. He must have a cut tire, or the car quit. Something happened to him for sure, and I've seen it happen the lap before.
Indy Racing League Infiniti Pro Series action continues in just a moment from Gateway International. We hope you're enjoying our highlighted coverage of the Infiniti Pro Series racing action coming your way from Gateway International Raceway just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Hey, look here a moment ago. Scary moment for Taylor. Whoa, he hangs on. Yeah. I mean, that's our leader, folks. Yeah. You cannot lose your concentration for a millisecond here, even though he's got a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, watch this. 67 laps down. This guy just said, hey, you don't need to go. Nobody's pressuring him. He has a 10 car length lead minimum. And he probably won't make that mistake, but a little dirty air in front of him, drives in there hard. You can see it kick out. What a great job. I mean, I'll guarantee he was hanging on. He did grab another gear there because he lost so many RPM.
Wow.
Trying to get that thing going again, but what a recovery.
You have to restart my heart. Let's check in with Amy.
Well, the entire team down here saw it, and they were all holding their breath. But what they're telling Mark right now is, Mark, don't worry. Gather it back up. You only lost half your lead. You still have 12 car lengths. That's just how fast this car has been so far today.
Mark Taylor's total domination of the lap leaderboard and victory podium this year certainly hasn't gone unnoticed by those who rank among the IndyCar Series elite.
He's been doing an amazing job. I mean, he's won his very first oval race, and let me tell you, that's very, very difficult. And not only he's showing great speed, but he's showing very good racecraft and great maturity behind the wheel.
Mark Taylor does a very good job, and he runs very smart, very mature for his age, as far as in the car, very smooth, and that's one thing I've always looked for, and I've always felt that's a big plus.
He's done a great job there this year, and I don't know what his plans are for next year, but maybe I'll be battling against him in the big cars.
Brandon Irwin beginning to reel in Mark Taylor. Does he have enough time? 4 laps to go, and now Taylor is losing some speed. We saw him bobble a moment ago. Taylor coming off turn 2, the car bobble, and just out of the screen on the right side, that blue car coming into your picture is the natural golf. Right side of your screen, that is Brandon Irwin, who was the pole sitter, and now the margin is less than a second. It was a second and a half, almost 2 seconds, 2 laps ago. It is under a second with 3 laps to go. Here comes Irwin.
He's coming, and the speed show it. I mean, Mark Taylor, he was 2 miles an hour slower than Brandon a lap ago. This last lap, it was a 1 mile an hour slower. So he's definitely losing ground. He's got one of the Himmelgarn cars in front of him that may be holding him up.
In turn 3, it'll be 2 to go this time by. It is now 10 car lengths. It is down to 0.6 of a second. 2 laps to go. Taylor trying to hang on. It'll be white flag next time by. Make it 7 car lengths now for Irwin and Taylor.
Oh, and there goes Taylor back again. Very high down in turns 1 and 2. Very, very high. There goes Brandon Irwin on that side.
Here goes Irwin below.
They both spin. Hit touch.
Taylor and Irwin both spin. There's contact as Irwin tries to go by. Taylor got high, and they both go around. As the first and second place cars with 2 laps to go, they were coming down for the white flag. And the caution is out. And Mark Taylor frustrated. Brandon Irwin apparently very frustrated. And here is the white and yellow flag. And Brandon Irwin very, very upset. He thought he had the move to be able to get the win. And on the radio as he was spinning, he thought he had been blocked by the 4 car. You can see he is fired up as they discuss it.
No, that was too bad. No, yeah, you can tell he's mad. The situation was, as Mark Taylor definitely made a mistake. Something happened to his car. It went off. He went up high in the racetrack again, and you can see the handling was going off. And
now the Indy racing officials are going to jump in there, but you know, you got to understand, Brandon Irwin realizes that if he doesn't get a sponsor, he may have just run his last race, and he was that close to getting his very first win, and he has got to be heartbroken. I know there's got to be a lot of frustration there. But on Mark Taylor's defense, looks like he was just trying to hang on to the car.
You know, he lost the car, went down there, thing slid up high. We've seen that. We haven't seen the replay of it yet, but he definitely went in there, got high, lost some control, was trying to gather it back up. Brandon was going to pass him. Brandon was going to go by him, and just the room ran out, and it's hard.
And how about getting his first win, Jeff Simmons, 26 years of age.
Would you close your eyes when you went through that mess?
Keith Duesenberg and company, Western Union Speed Team, and Keith Duesenberg's team with Jeff Simmons in victory lane. They become the 4th different winner here in 2003. He inherits the win by virtue of that incident between first and second, but hey, a win is a win.
You know, it is. I mean,
I think Yogi Berra said that.
This was an 80-lap race, and you got to be the first guy there at 80 laps. And I've been in situations to where I've won races, but I've lost races like that. It all weighs out, and a win's a win.
Let's look back from Mark Taylor's onboard camera, so we can see what happened here on this final lap as they were coming down for the white flag.
You can see he has a big lead right there. Looks like he got in the corner and he just missed it. He just missed the entry of the corner. Irwin going up high. Oh, actually, it looks like Irwin, fairly good hit there, wasn't it? It looks like Brandon got up high. Mark definitely left some room out there. It looks like Brandon's car may got a little bit loose, slapped the back of the car against the wall, and then slid into the back of Mark Taylor.
Okay, different angle. Look again. Watch them now. They're coming down the front straightaway in turns 1 and 2.
Just missed the corner. You see, he didn't turn in early enough, got in a little bit high, lost a little, may have been looking behind him instead of in front of him. There you can see Brandon going up, but he lost it. Actually, that's what happened. Mark Taylor definitely gave him plenty of room. He got up high, got in the loose stuff, hasn't been up there all day trying to make a pass, and the back of his car just stepped out. You can see it right there, just stepped out. There was no contact yet, and it's one of those situations.
Well, Taylor's car was sliding up as he was trying to gather it back in, and Irwin thought he had room to pass, and his car apparently...
He was up in no man's land. See, he got in the gray right there. You see him get in the gray, and as soon as he got in there in the marble, as we call the marbles, where all the loose rubber and dirt is, he just, the back of the car took off, and really nobody, you know, that's a racing deal. It really is. There's nobody to blame in that situation.
A heartbreaker for the Natural Golf Casino Queen efforts, as well as the Futaba, or I should say the Fulmar Panther efforts here. But Jeff Simmons on his way to victory lane. We'll talk to him when we come back. Our speed road coverage of that exciting finish from Gateway International Raceway has been brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Let's go down to victory lane where Amy East is joined by a couple of special guests, and one of them is our winner, Jeff Simmons.
And standing next to Jeff is two Firestone retailers, Brian Patterson and Gene Bressman. And just a few days ago, Jeff Simmons, you had the flu, you weren't feeling good, but today, I bet you don't feel anything but happy, especially when you saw those two cars in front of you get together.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, we'll take it any way we can get it right now. We've had our share of bad luck and misfortune this year when we had chances to win, I think, and finally it was our time. And you know, I saw Mark get real high there, and I knew that there was going to be a chance that they were going to fight there a little bit, and I was hoping that I'd be able to benefit. And I was fortunate that they kind of parted like the Red Sea, and I was able to go right through the middle.
Hey, a win is a win. He'll take them any way he can get them.
And Jeff Simmons becomes our fourth different winner this year. Coy Witherell, runner-up for the second time this year. He finished second at Indianapolis. Lyondike Jr. all the way from back of the pack with a rebuilt race car. Great job, guys. He finishes third. Ed Carpenter fourth. Tom Wood likewise. A rebuilt car for Sam Smith Racing finishes in the top 5. Fike, Dana, G.J. Menon, Taylor, Brandon Irwin, and Tiago Medeiros. The top 11 finishers here in the Gateway 100. And what a finish we've had here. What a finish here at Gateway. And our Amy East is caught up with Brandon Irwin.
Well, Brandon, I know there was a lot of frustration out there. I think it's only fair to tell you what we saw from Taylor's onboard and also from our high cameras. It looked like Taylor had lost it and gave you as much room as he could, but it almost looked like that your car got a little out of shape. What were you feeling from the driver's seat?
I mean, he went high, and he definitely did not have, I mean, I had a run on him, and he jerks completely in front of me, comes down, he knows I'm there. He was out of line. I mean, even on a road course, when you get off in the dirt, you don't jerk back on the racetrack, and it's exactly what he did. He jerked it back on the racetrack. I had nowhere to go. I mean, it may look like my car came around, but when he cut in front of me, I had to get out of the gas a little bit, and I had to make a move. And I mean, when somebody cuts you off like that, you got to make a move. Maybe my car did make a mistake, but it was because of him cutting me off. You know, I mean, Mark's a lot smarter than that. I've raced with him clean several times, and I mean, I just don't understand it. He destroyed my day. I mean, he may have finished my season for me. I mean, thanks to him, it may be over. He's won plenty of races. He's leading the championship. I figured he'd be a lot smarter than that.
Some of the best explanations come from the drivers.
And you can certainly understand the frustration in Brandon Irwin's voice, hoping to be able to get a win today and maybe salvage his season and maybe find a sponsor. Now let's go back down to Amy, who has more with Mark Taylor.
Well, Mark, just a few laps before that incident, we had seen your car push up a little bit. Obviously, the handling was going away a little bit on the car. But tell me, do you feel like that you could have avoided what happened between you and Brandon? Brandon seemed to be very upset about the incident.
I think he has every right to be. The back end came round at me and going into turn 1. He'd done it previously. I'd collected up and got to the inside, and I did the same thing. And he closed in on me very quickly, as he would do with me making a mistake like that. I got on the power and just he was looking on the outside coming out of the corner, and he got alongside me, and I just didn't give him enough room on the outside. I thought I had, and I hadn't, and it's my mistake. All I can do is apologise to him, and hopefully we'll be able to run next week, and he'll forgive me for it. He understands that I am sorry for it, and it won't happen again. It's one of those mistakes that I'm going to make, and I'm not going to make it again. That's for sure.
Well, for Amy East, Davey Hamilton, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Jerry Punch. Join us next from the Kentucky 100, August 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Once again, congratulations to Jeff Simmons, a first-time winner in Infiniti Pro here this year.